Welcome back. It is Black Friday, post-Thanksgiving. Zach Osterman from IndyStar joining us. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How about you?
Great. Good to see that you're not standing and sleeping in line on some sidewalk somewhere waiting for a TV or whatever else that is we may need.
Yeah, it's funny. I always tell people like Black Friday in Bloomington's great because you get all the deals at Target or wherever that everybody else gets, but there's 30,000 people here. So I mean,
just walk up.
I've done the Black Friday before. I don't think I have any reason to do it this year, but anytime I've never waited in a line. I've never had to line up outside a store. None of it.
Yeah, I've done it one time, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see me doing that again. But hey, whatever it takes. But it's a fun time. It means the holidays are here at least. There's that good part, and with that brings lots of sports, and this weekend especially, lots going on. No matter who you follow, Indiana basketball Saturday night. You've got the Old Oaken Bucket game Saturday afternoon, but it's rivalry week, so there's a lot of great games going on this weekend. But for Indiana football, this is their only chance to kind of salvage what has been just a forgettable season. If somehow they could possibly pull out an upset win, but the problem is usually when you hope for an upset, you can kind of see where there might be a path, and it's just hard to find a path for this football game to succeed offensively, I guess you'd say.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, that's just kind of where Indiana is offensively, and I think that it. What's funny is in the past, I've covered Indiana teams that were, I guess record-wise just as bad as this one, that felt more competitive, even if they didn't come a lot closer, physically to getting wins because they could score points. And, I think this is, generally speaking, I believe that a program like Indiana needs sort of the head coach that it has. I think you need, like, you're not going to be able to outscore teams with more talent than you. You've got to be able to compete on defense. But I think that, I think when I hear from IU fans, one thing that I sort of understand their point is, basically saying, well, geez, we've seen bad teams before that could still at least score 30 points in a Big Ten game. This one is just so stuck offensively and is so, I mean, just so, I mean, they can't find anything that they have confidence in enough to move the ball, enough to, the way I said it last weekend is that there's no starting point. There's, you got an all Big Ten tight end, you got an all Big Ten wide receiver. It's far from a perfect offensive line, but you do have an experienced offensive line, and yet it doesn't feel like Indiana has any cornerstone. There's no place for this offense to start, and that is, that's an indictment of a lot of people. Players, coaches first. Coaches will always tell you it's an indictment of them first. And it's something that obviously Indiana needs to work through once the season is over. But between now and then, of course, they have to play Purdue. And like you, it's just hard for me, especially against a Purdue team that can move the ball and score points pretty well, and always has been able to under Jeff Brom, even in seasons when they've struggled. I just don't see how Indiana is going to have the firepower here.
And not only that, there have been times where it looked as though their effort, it was hard for them to give the effort needed. And I don't see personally any way that they don't start Grant Gremble. He's of the quarterbacks between him and McCullough, obviously throwing the ball. He's the only one between the two that has had some success here of late. So I think you have to do whatever it is you can try, even though as crazy as it sounds to be starting a fourth guy who's a walk-on, but that's where they are.
No, I mean, and I think it comes down to just whether or not you feel McCullough has confidence in his ability to throw the football. And it was pretty clear he didn't last weekend. He has at times, to be very clear, he has at times. but I just don't think if you don't have that confidence that he has that confidence, and forgive me, that's a weird way to say it. That's my 3-year-old behind me. Also, my camera went out. I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm sorry about that. This computer doesn't love me as much as I love it, but then I think there's a case for starting Grimmel, or at least going into, and I normally loathe, 2 QB plans, so to speak. I don't think they work. I don't think they're a good idea, broadly speaking. But in this instance, every once in a while they're called for, and I could see a world where Indiana kind of needs that rotation this weekend. So, and I'm going to mute this when I'm not talking so that you can't hear the chaos outside the door.
Oh, that's all right. This is a day for chaos. So we'll see how that turns out up in West Lafayette.